Okay, imagine some fields. The nice ones, ready for planting, and then others full of rocks and junk that would ruin your tractor in a heartbeat. Fixing that mess takes more than your backyard rig. So today, we're ditching the hand tools and going big on land clearing machines. We're talking rakes that hook up to your tractor, monster drums for your skid loader, and a few other crazy ones that'll make that field ready for crops. Stick around, we keep the biggest and baddest one at the end. Gessner Stick Rake. We start with the Gessner Stick Rakes. You will see it around a lot, especially on the bigger dozers. They're popular for a reason. They're built like tanks. Those main beams are solid plate, fully fabricated, not some wimpy box construction. And see those gussets? That's the kind of over-engineering that pays off on top sites. The tines are serious too. You can get them in solid plate or fabricated high tensile depending on what kind of abuse you plan on putting it through. What I like is that they're focused on clearing, not just pushing. The tines and beam are designed to actually lift material so you can pile it properly. Makes a big difference on cleanup efficiency. Gessner does good on the little things too. Their drive-in models have that forward-facing radiator guard. Saves you a headache there. And that quick attach system of theirs is simple but reliable. They make them in a ton of sizes to fit most dozers, so yeah, they're kind of the standard for a reason. Cat D7R Dozer. What if you don't want to buy a stick rake? A big dozer will do the job. Okay, picture this. You've got a chunk of land, maybe some brush, trees, whatever needs clearing for a new field, road, or building site. That's prime D7R territory. It's a big old dozer, no getting around that. About 50,000 pounds with a powerful diesel engine. The blade is business end, huge chunk of steel, curved, cuts into the ground like butter. First pass, you want to set that blade height just right and push those trees down. Smaller ones come easy. Bigger ones, you might need a few hits from different angles. Roots, stumps, and all get shoved into piles. Once that's roughed out, lower the blade, tip it forward, and use it to level everything, smooth out of the ground. Ripper attachment in back? Even better for ripping up hard ground or stubborn roots. Cat's elevated sprocket design means less crap gets caught up in the tracks. Keeps you rolling. The GPS stuff is nice too for precision grading. Big, comfy cab makes all-day shifts bearable. But really, a D7R is all about power and pushing through the nastiest stuff out there. Norm Engineering Dozer Blade Stick Rake. Those boys at Norm Engineering, they've done something clever with this dozer blade stick rake. It's a game changer if you do a lot of varied jobs with a skid steer or loader. See, it's both a dozer blade and a rake. Switching between them is dead simple. Just 4 pins hold it in either configuration. The dozer blade is great for the usual grading, light pushing, that kind of stuff. Replaceable edge means it'll last too. Strong steel throughout, so you can use it hard. Then pop those pins, flip it around, and it's a rake. Those tines are made from that good old biz alloy steel so they can handle a beating. Brilliant for clearing debris, fallen branches, rocks, even sifting out topsoil on tough job sites. You get that big machine power for jobs where a hand rake is too slow, but you don't want the mess of a grapple bucket. They make them in a few different widths to fit most skid steers and loaders, and that versatility is the real winner. Savannah 1250 Bush Rake. So the Savannah 1250. Imagine a giant drum with rows of teeth mounted onto an excavator or a skid steer. That's the basic idea. It's designed for heavy-duty brush and debris cleanup, especially after you've cleared trees on a piece of land. Picture a field full of stumps, branches, junk. That's where this thing shines. You lower the drum, spin it up, and those teeth basically rake everything in their path. Unlike a regular rake, it throws stuff sideways into windrows, so you can clean up whole swaths at a time. Those teeth are replaceable too, because you will bang them on rocks and stumps no matter what. The big advantage is speed. Hand raking is brutal, and even a tractor-mounted one is slow compared to this. you've got to have a plenty powerful machine to run it through. Skid steer needs serious hydraulics or a good-sized excavator. And hey, watch out for stuff flying. Smaller bits get launched, so always clear the work area first. Currie Engineering Ride-On Stick Rake. This is the Currie Stick Rake. It's a little different than the big ones for dozers. See? This thing hooks up to your ride-on mower, or even an ATV if you got one. It's perfect for those bigger properties where you don't want to bring in a full-blown machine, but hand raking is just not an option. Think cleaning up paths, keeping fire trails open, or tidying up after you thin up some trees. That kind of thing. It's surprisingly effective. Those big wheels make it work on rougher ground than you'd expect, and the tines are tough enough to really dig in. Obviously, you're not going to clear a whole field with this, but its size is what makes it useful. You can get into tighter spots, and the dump system is slick. Just pull the handle, and it piles up whatever you collected. Aussie made too, so you know it's built to last. If you manage a larger chunk of land, it's a lifesaver compared to doing everything by hand. Himac Rock Picker. What to do when all those fields with just enough rocks to ruin your day? That's where the Himac Rock Picker comes in handy. It hooks right onto my skid loader, and those tines, they're built for a fight. You dig down a bit, give the drum a spin, and it'll scoop up all those smaller rocks and spit the dirt right back out. They say it handles rocks up to a half a foot across. That's no lie. Makes a heck of a difference for preparing a seed bed, especially if you're breaking new ground. I even use it on existing fields sometimes, especially right before planting. Saves a ton of wear and tear on the equipment, that's for sure. Sure, it ain't gonna replace backhoe work for those monster boulders, but it's a lifesaver for all those in-betweeners. Built here in Australia too, which is important to me. Had a few mates trying the cheaper knockoffs, those all fell apart. The Himac? Oh, now that's proper solid Aussie engineering. Winsco Land Clearing Root Rake. You kids with your fancy mulching heads and masticators. Sometimes you just want something simple, you know? That's where the Winsco's root rake comes in. They've been making these things down in Georgia for, well, long as I can remember. It's really just a big steel comb with serious teeth that mounts to the front of your dozer or skid steer. Now, the genius is in the design of those teeth. They're curved and spaced just right to scoop under roots, tear them out of the ground, then shake most of the dirt right back out. Perfect for clearing brush, prepping land for pasture, you name it. Not magic, mind you. You still gotta fight with those bigger stumps. But man, does it save on hand clearing time. Winsco makes them in a bunch of sizes, from ones for little skid steers up to monsters for the big dozers. Heavy? Oh lord, yes. But that weight's part of what makes them work. Ain't the fastest way to clear land, but nothing beats the satisfaction of seeing those piles of roots and brush behind you. Homan Stick Rake. The Homan Stick Rake is popular out there, and with good reason. They're kind of the workhorse of the stick rake world. Simple design, built strong, and they just plain work. They make them for everything from skid steers all the way up to the monster dozers. The real beauty is in their setup. That drive-in attachment system they use is genius, easy on, easy off. So if you switch between dozer work and clean up a lot, you're not wasting a ton of time on bolting stuff. The tines themselves are tough, and you can spec different types and sizes to suit whatever nasty conditions you're in. They're great for clearing brush, site prep work, even raking out fence lines. If you have one of those jobs where you're pushing dirt part of the time and want a quick way to clean up afterward, Homan's hard to beat. They're not fancy, don't have a lot of bells and whistles, but hey, sometimes you just need something that does the job. Makita SW400MP. Check this out, the Makita SW400MP. That paddle sweep attachment for their split shaft power tools, it's surprisingly good. I used to think these things were gimmicky, but this one works for all those annoying little cleanup jobs you'd usually grab a boom for. Think clearing light construction debris, pebbles off sidewalks, or even pushing light snow or rainwater. It's essentially a big drum with rubber paddles attached to a steel drive shaft. You click it into the Makita power head, and when you fire it up, the whole drum spins super fast. Those paddles do a great job of flicking away stuff without making a huge mess or damaging grass. The sweeping width is about 23 inches, which is decently wide for a walk-behind attachment. This whole setup is heavier than a broom, sure, about 16 pounds, but you trade that bit of extra weight for way faster cleanup. No more back and forth sweeping. It's designed for their gas and battery-powered multi-tool systems, so you need one of those to use the SW400MP. Dixie Holding Dozer Stick Rake. We save the best for last. Check out the Dixie Holding Dozer Stick Rake. If you gotta clear lots of land, this is the ticket. Sticks right onto the front of a dozer, and those giant tines, man, they tear stuff loose. Big stuff too. Roots, rocks, old fence posts, whatever. It's crazy how strong those tines are, made from that fancy BizAlloy steel. They customize them a lot, which is cool. You can get them with bars in between the tines for picking up smaller junk, or you can space them wide for big stuff. Folding wings give you more width if you need it. Hell, I've even seen ones with replaceable cutting edges like a dozer blade. The best part? It makes the job fun. Sure, running a dozer is always a good time, but this thing feels different, yanking out stumps that some poor guy wasted hours digging around. There's something satisfying about it. Obviously, you need a decent-sized dozer to run one of these, but if you got the machine for it, you won't regret adding a DH dozer stick rake to the arsenal. Alright, that's a wrap for today's land clearing equipment rundown. Hope you found it useful and maybe even learned something about a machine you didn't know existed. The world of heavy equipment is huge, and there's always some crazy new tool for every kind of job out there. If you liked this, let us know. We've got ideas for tons more videos, maybe on specialized attachments, or even getting some operators on to talk about their favorite rigs. Until then, happy clearing and stay safe out there.